In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this procedural watermelon shader in Blender. Now, if you'd like to get the project files for this tutorial and also help to support the channel, then you can do that on my Gumroad store and my Patreon with the links in the video description. Before we get started, I wanted to show you the setup that I have. So I just have a camera and I just have this pointed at the center of the scene. And then I just pressed Shift A and I went over here to Mesh. And then I just added in a UV sphere. Now, when I added in the UV sphere, I pressed R to rotate, X on the X-axis, and I typed in 90, enter, and that way it was over sideways like this. And then I also shaded the object smooth, and then I also tabbed into edit mode, and I pressed S to scale, and Y on the Y-axis, and I just scaled it out a little bit just so that it looks like a watermelon. And then right over here on the modifiers, I also added a new modifier, and I added the subdivision surface modifier just so that it's a little bit smooth. So that's how I created this watermelon object. If you'd like to create it that way, that's how I did it. Now I also added in these two plane lights. I am using Cycles render, so I just like to use plane lights. And then over here, I just added in a new material and I set it to an emission. And then to get some even more realistic lighting, I went over here to the world and I added in this Autoshop 01 1K HDR, and this is on HDRI Haven. So I'll leave a link in the video description if you'd like to download the same HDRI. All right, let's get started. Now I also rotated my watermelon a little bit just because I like that a little bit better. And then I have the 3D view right here so that we can see it as we create it. And then right over here, I have the shader nodes. So I'm just going to click on new and I'm just going to call this watermelon. And then right here, you can see that on default, it added in a principled BSDF. So that is what we want. So I'm just going to start by pressing Shift A. And I'm going to search for a wave texture. I'm just going to drop the wave texture right here. And then I'm also using the Node Wrangler add-on. So if you don't have that enabled, you can go to edit and then go to the user preferences. And then right over here under the add-ons, you can just go to the search here and start to type in node. And then you can see that there's this Node Wrangler add-on. Just check mark that and then it'll be enabled. All right, I'm going to close the user preferences. So now that the Node Wrangler is enabled, I can hold down the Control and Shift key and click on the wave texture, and that's going to preview it. Now, also using another feature from the Node Wrangler, I can press Control T when this wave texture is selected, and that's going to automatically add in a texture coordinate and mapping node. And this texture coordinate and mapping, it's going to tell it how the texture is going to be placed on the object. So I don't want to use generated, I actually want to use UV because I want to use the UV map of the sphere. And because the UV sphere is automatically unwrapped, it's unwrapped on default in Blender, you can see that that's already starting to look a little bit like a watermelon. It has those little stripes there with that wave texture. Now, if you want to play around with how many stripes there are on the watermelon, what you can do is you can go over to the UV editing. And then let me just escape out of this, and then we'll go back into rendered mode. So if I tab into edit mode, you can see right over here, because I'm in the UV editing tab, here is our UV layout. So I can just press A to select everything. And then if you scale this, you can see that it's adding more and more waves or less and less of those waves from the wave texture. So you can play around with this later once the procedural material is done and just scale it to the size that you want if you'd like to do that. Let's go back over to the shading tab right here and we'll keep working on this. So this is starting to look like a watermelon. Of course, the colors aren't correct, but we will get to that later. But these stripes here, they're very boring and I want to add a lot more interest to the stripes. So what I'm going to do is turn this distortion value up to 4 on the wave texture. You can turn it up more or less if you want. I think 4 looks pretty good. And you can see because we are using the UV mapping, there is a little bit of a seam here, but we're going to have a seam somewhere because we're using the UV map. So what I'm going to do is actually just double tap R and rotate this until we can't see the seam. So just something like that, that is pretty good. And then later on, as I said, you can go over to the UV editing and play with the scale, and that way you can make it so that the seam is harder to see. All right, now this detail here on the wave texture, I'm also going to turn this up. So I'm going to turn up to something like a 5, and you can see that when I zoom in here, there's a lot more detail. That is great. And then the detail roughness, I'm going to turn this all the way up to 1, and you can see what it's doing. It looks a lot more interesting now, but I still want to add a lot more noise because this is an organic, fruit. So having this whole area here where it's just white and there's no noise or anything, and also having these areas where it's just fully black, that's not going to look very good. So what I'm going to do is press Shift A, and I'm going to add a noise texture. So just search for a noise texture. Here it is. Now we're actually going to drop it right here after the wave texture. So I'll just drop it in, and then this color is just going to go into the vector, and then I want to Control Shift and click on this until we can see the factor. So the scale, I'm going to turn this down to like a 1 so that the scale is a lot smaller, and you can start to see it's looking a little bit better. Now the detail, I actually want to turn this all the way down on the noise texture, and you can see now we can start to see those waves again, so that is better. And then the roughness, I think I'm going to turn this down a little bit. You could play around with it. I think I'll just turn it down just a little bit. And then the distortion, I'm actually going to turn this up to like a 0.4, so just a little bit of distortion. You can see it looks a little bit better. All right, so now we can actually make the colors that we want because this isn't a watermelon color. So I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to search for a color ramp. I'm just going to drop the color ramp right here. And then what we can do is we can actually take this color ramp and we can take the output and put that into the base color of the principled BSDF. Let's Control Shift and click on the color ramp though, and then we can play around with the different tabs to make the colors that we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on this white tab, and then I'm going to pull it out. And I'll just bring it like right over here. You can see there's the position if you want to change it to the exact position that I'm changing it to, or you can just eyeball it and get it to how you like. And then I don't want it to be white, I want it to be a green color. So we're going to make it a bright green color, and then I'll just turn it down because I don't want it to be quite that bright, but a very saturated green color like that. But I do want it to be pretty dark green, so I will turn it down a little bit more, something like that. All right, now I also want to have an even darker green color. So this black one here, I'm just going to drag this over here so that it's behind this one. And then I will make it a very similar color, but just a little bit darker. All right, something like that for now is good. Now I'm also going to click on the plus here to add a new tab, and we're going to drag this tab over just to somewhere kind of around here. And then this one I want to be a very, very bright green color. So this is going to be all the way up to white, and then this will actually be slightly more on the yellow side, so you can see it's slightly yellow. And then let's add another one. So I'm going to click on the plus here to add a new one, and this one we will kind of bring over here. And that way it's just pretty close to this one. And then this one I want to make it a little bit more green and a little bit less yellow, but still fully bright, but just a little bit more on the yellow side, something like that. So you can see now we have these 4 colors. So we have a very, very bright yellow, a very, very bright green, and then a dark green and an even darker green. And you can see the effect that we're getting. Now this isn't very detailed, and I want to make it even more detailed. So there's some things that you can play around with. You can play around with the detail size here. So you can see if I start to turn it up, then you can kind of zoom in here, and you can see if I just turn that detail up, it's starting to get more and more detailed. I don't like to turn it up too high, because if you turn it up too high, it's just going to get super, super, super detailed, and that is like too detailed. It kind of looks like grains of sand or something. So I don't want it to be quite that detailed, but I think if it's a little bit more detailed, you can see now you're starting to get those little bits of detail in there, which is what I like. So just find something that looks good for you, maybe somewhere around a 9. Now you can also turn the distortion up if you don't quite like how this is. So I'm just going to turn the distortion up a little bit more. I don't want to turn it up too far because you can see now you can't really see the stripes. But if you turn it down too small, then everything's going to be really flat. So just play around with it. I like it to be a bit wobbly, but not too wobbly. So maybe around a 6 or a 7. All right, let's Control Shift and click on the principled BSDF, and that is looking pretty good. Now this watermelon isn't very shiny, and watermelon usually is a little bit shiny, and then also watermelon usually is a little bit bumpy. It usually has just a little bit of bumps. Kind of if you rub your hand on it, you can just feel just some subtle bumps here and there. So I want to change the roughness, and then I want to also just give it a little bit of normal. So to change the roughness, what I'm going to do is actually take this color here, and we're going to put it into the roughness value. So now it's like a super shiny watermelon. It's like, it almost looks like a mirror. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to box select all the nodes and just kind of pull them back, and that way I have a little bit more space in here. So what I can do is press Shift A, and I'm going to search for a color ramp node, and I'll just drop the color ramp node right in here. And then we can play around with this color ramp, and that's going to change how shiny it is. So I can Control Shift and click on it to preview it. And then this black one here, I'm going to turn it up because I want it to be more like a gray color. And then this white one right here, I'm actually going to make this gray as well, but just slightly darker. So this is a slightly whiter gray, and then this is a slightly darker gray. So if I Control Shift and click on this, you can see it's a little bit more shiny. So you can see if I take this first tab here, and if I make it darker, you can see it's going to make it more shiny. And then if I turn it up and make it lighter, it's going to be a lot more rough. So really just play around with this. I don't want it to be quite that shiny, maybe something like that, so there's a little bit of reflection, but not too much. Something something like that. All right, now I want to give it a little bit of noise for the bump. So I'm going to press Shift A. We're going to search for another noise texture. I'm just going to drop this noise texture right here. And then I'm just going to take the vector for this and plug it up to the vector here so that they're using the same mapping. And then I can Control Shift and click on this to preview the noise texture. So I'm going to turn the scale up maybe to something around like a 16 or maybe even more like a 20. However much bumpiness you want, and then we need to actually plug the factor into the normal. But then if I Control Shift and click on this, you can see something is wrong with the shading, and that's because we need to convert this to normal data, because this factor right here, this is just black and white, but then this one here, this is a purple one because it's normal. So we need to convert this, so I'm going to press Shift A and add a bump, and the bump node is going to convert it to normal data. So we need to plug the factor up to the height, and then the normal will go through the normal. So now if I Control Shift and click on this, you can see our watermelon is very, very bumpy, and I don't want it that bumpy. So the strength here, I'm going to turn this way down to like a 0.01, something like that. That may actually be not quite bumpy enough because you can barely even see it. If I Control Shift and click on the bump, you can see it's there, but it's very, very subtle. Maybe turn this up to like a 0.03, something like that. Let's see that. You can kind of see it in the reflections. It should be very subtle though, because watermelon are pretty smooth. And then you could also turn the scale up here on the noise texture if you want that bump to be a little bit smaller. All right, so just Control Shift and click on the principled BSDF to preview the final material. Now real quick before we finish the video, if you want to change the size of this, you can. So I'm just going to select this and then go over to the UV editing tab and then just go into the rendered view. So I can just press A to select all of the UV mapping. And then if I scale this up or down, it's going to change the size of the stripes. And then I just flipped the watermelon back over so that you could see the seam. And here's the seam. It's pretty hard to see, but if I tab into edit mode and then select all of these, I can scale the UV mapping and you can see that there's the seam. You can now see it if I just like scale that down a little bit. So what you want to do is just scale this so that one of these stripes is right in the very center of the seam. So really just scale it to whatever you want, but just make sure that one of those stripes are in the center of the seam, and then it's very, very hard to see. You can barely see it. And then you could also just flip it around so that the watermelon is on the other side, and that way you can't even see the seam. All right, there we go. So that is how you create this procedural watermelon shader in Blender. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Now, if you'd like to help support this channel and get project files, artwork project files, procedural materials, and 3D models and assets, then you can do that on my Gumroad store and my Patreon page. The links are in the description. And also another great way to help support me monthly here on YouTube is to join the YouTube memberships. So you can see that there's that little join button right next to the subscribe button, and if you join my memberships, then you'll get some cool perks here on YouTube, and you'll also help to support me monthly. But again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in a future video.